Hello everybody out there in YouTube land, this is the Mighty Eskimo, and this is What It Is This Is. And What It Is This Is today is going to be a deeper look into the Nintendo Switch first look video. And now that I've seen it several times, I thought it would be fun to give you a couple of speculations I thought of while watching the video itself, plus my opinion on the video in its entirety. So without further ado, let's press that play button and take a look at the video. At the very first part of the video, we're greeted with these ambient sounds and street locales. Either that's meaning that it's very boring outside with nothing to do, or it's just indicating this guy has been up since, 2 in the morning and he's still playing until daybreak. And of course he's playing Legend of Zelda. In fact, the new Legend of Zelda. Nintendo's been pushing that this is going to come out on the NX/Switch forever now, and maybe this is going to be a launch title. It's the first game shown, so maybe that's an indication that this is going to be a launch title. I bet a few people are going to be very disappointed if it isn't. Whoa, that's a lot of red. Anybody else hear that clicking sound? Classic marketing conditioning ploy. They do it a few more times in the video too. So every time you hear that sound, you're going to think of Switch. And that logo is so unsymmetrical that it would make Death the Kid freak the hell out. Eh? Does anybody like my 2008 anime reference? Eh? Okay, moving on. And here's our first look at the console in its entirety. Now it looks like they have 2 USB ports on the side, which I'm not 100% sure I understand are for, because they never seem to utilize them in the video, even for maybe connectivity between 2 consoles. They could be for more memory or for downloadable stuff to transfer between consoles, or maybe even playing audio or video through the console itself using a USB thumbstick, but that seems relatively very un-Nintendo. Oh man, that was fancy. You see how dramatic they did that with the swoosh and the swoosh and the click and the click? It's almost like it's a key feature or something. Before we move on, let's back it up a little bit. That controller right there that has the other controllers docked inside of it, that would be a great opportunity to have that be an extra battery pack in the center. That one's on me, Nintendo. Ooh, you can take it outside while the dog poops. But this brings up a couple of questions. How is he playing it outside? Is it like Sony's streaming device with the Vita, where you have to have a Wi-Fi signal to play it? Does the actual tablet play the games itself? If it's the latter, that kind of worries me, because a tablet of that size normally doesn't play high-res games. And if it actually does, it's usually very expensive, or the battery on it just drains like crazy. Ah, it looks like we're going back to the cartridge this time. This gives a little bit more oomph to the it doesn't need Wi-Fi and it plays on its own. Though you are in an airport, and airports usually have Wi-Fi to use. Or this could be a showing that it actually plays 3DS games, which would be amazing. I mean, it doesn't ever show what he's actually playing while he's sitting there waiting for his plane, so it could be possible. I actually thought at first that the lady was playing a 3DS, and this would be a good comparison, is like, hey, you don't need the 3DS anymore, you can just play the Switch. But then it turns out that she's playing a Switch as well. So it really is confusing on why she's so fascinated and why he's showing it off to her and why she's confused. Look at that face. Oh man, it has a kickstand. That is futuristic. It's nice to see that they added a headphone jack, so you're not that guy. Nobody likes that guy. But this also means that there may not be any Bluetooth headset connectivity. With all this wireless controllers and being able to take your game on the go, not having a wireless headset seems a little weird. Now we got a big boy game on the screen. With Skyrim being a high-resolution game, this also means that there'll probably be more processing output towards it. Hopefully they'll give us a portable charger so we're not draining our battery so bad. Now this scene makes me wonder, did he bring the dock with him? Or is that somebody else's dock and they can just be interchanged and then just broadcast on the screen? I'm gonna go ahead and take a giant leap here, but I bet that TV stand thing, whatever it is gonna be sold separately. Speaking of sold separately, I bet that Pro controller they keep featuring is something that doesn't come standard with the original purchase. And while we're on this scene, this is about the first time we've seen the actual screen that isn't in forced perspective in any way, so we can actually take a glimpse of what the actual size is. Comparing it to the headrest and the gentleman that was on the plane by the way he held it, it seems like this is about 6 by 4 inches, which means it's about 7.5 from one corner to the next, which means that the actual screen would probably be an inch smaller due to the frame that it has around it. So probably a 6.5-inch screen. Now, having a split screen co-op game on a portable device is a cool feature. That is going to be one small ass screen to play split screen on. I hope you bring your reading glasses in that case. These scenes where they're actually playing the game that's equivalent to the real life counterpart will make more sense later in the commercial. And it looks like wireless connectivity gameplay is a thing, where you can just have them next to each other and be able to play. I'm fairly certain that you'll definitely both need to own the game to be able to link up to each other, but still, it's a cool concept. No wires, no muss, no fuss. Now would you take a look at this house and this lady? I don't think I've ever seen anybody shop this hard at Pottery Barn and be this into video games. She's so into video games that she has amiibos from the Wii U generation. But with all this wireless stuff going on, the Switch could possibly read the amiibos wirelessly. It doesn't need a dock anymore. It would be a shame if you bought all these amiibos and then in the next generation they're completely useless. Whoa, 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 whoa. Is that a record player? Yeah. And not only is it a record player, they have a stack of records. What kind of party is this? Not 100% sure I understand this lady's logic. Hey, I know what I'll bring to the party instead of some beverages or chips or something to eat. How about I bring this 2-player video game to this hipster party while people watch me and one other person have fun? That seems like a good idea. And don't tell me you didn't think hipster when looking at this party. I mean, they're on a roof, they're playing old records on an old record player, and look at this guy's scarf. Obviously hipster party. And the whole group practicing thing comes to a head with this whole MLG gathering of strategy and camaraderie. It's a well use of subtext. Here's a good shot. You see all the cords coming out of the back of the charging dock, which seems like there's a couple of cords, probably a power and an AV cable. Speakers will probably be through the HDMI, which would plug into the TV, but still no real signs of what those 2 ports on the end were. Now granted, I've never been to an MLG match, but this seems like an excessive amount of people. I wonder how long it took to render all of them. Nintendo Switch. And I think that makes 7 conditioning transitions. All in all, I think they did a really good job on the first look trailer. It looks like they stuck to the approach that they did with the Wii. The Wii showed it how fun it was for the whole family to get involved. And in this commercial, they show how fun it is to take it on the go with you and play with your friends no matter where you are. This has worked out really well for them in the past, so I'm not surprised that they stuck to showing the console features rather than how good the games are going to be. That being said, I'm actually very curious on the performance capabilities of this new console. I did a little bit of research and I did learn that Nvidia had actually made a very tiny processing chip for the console specifically. It's very custom. And with them specifically showing Skyrim, which is usually a process and graphic heavy game, it does look like that Nintendo is really considering making a bigger jump towards 1080p. Which does make sense for Nintendo because they have always been one step behind on the graphical output compared to Xbox and Sony, but they haven't really worried about that. So if they do 1080p, when Xbox and Sony are worried about 4K, this would be totally a normal move for them. But I'm still not completely convinced that that little screen is the console itself. Why would the dock be so thick in the back if it actually wasn't a part of the console processing power? I know they made it a point to show the cartridge that he inserted at the airport, but I'm still not completely convinced that they don't use a broadcasting system using Wi-Fi. Don't get me wrong, I don't not believe they can do it and put it all in that little monitor. However, I am concerned about the price point and the battery drain. But with that note, I'll pass the question on to you. What do you think are going to be the key features, and how do you think this is going to work? If that monitor is the whole entire console, are you worried that it'll get lost while you're traveling along with it, or worse off, stolen? I look forward to reading your comments down below. This has been What It Is This Is. I am the Mighty Eskimo. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends, do all that YouTube and stuff, and I'll catch you all in the next video.